Hello and welcome aboard. This is Captain Cam on the sailing yacht Anacam. We are about to cross the Pacific Ocean from the Galapagos Islands to the Marquesas Island. This journey should take us about 3,000 nautical miles. In the end, it will take us just over 3,500 nautical miles for this amazing part of our journey from Europe back to Australia. Before we start any passage, we have to go through passport control, and on the island of Isabella in the Galapagos, we do this at the Booby Trap, where we find James and his lovely wife, Tia, to complete the process. As we left Isabella, the conditions were so calm we had to motor for the first 2.5 days. With one crew member on board, Denise Salas, we made our way down to just over 4 degrees south to find the trade winds. With Denise perched up on the pulpit, her favourite seat on Anacam, the trade winds built up over the next 24 hours to be a lovely 15 to 20 knots on a shy beam reach. With about 50% of our sails up, the very next day we covered our very first 200 nautical miles in 24 hours. This would have to be the easiest sailing we have ever completed on Anacam. Beautiful flat seas, good solid trade winds, about 50% of our sails rolled out, a pole on the Genoa, and we did not touch anything for over a week and a half. With only 50% of our sails out, we did not have to reduce any more as we approached our first line of Pacific Ocean squalls, and there would be many more to follow. Anacam was right in her happy place, cruising along at 8 to 10 knots speed over the ground. Denise was having a go at winding in her first fish, but the hook pulled and the fish won its freedom. The setting of the sun marks the end of another day. We watch closely every time the sun is about to set, watching out for that fabled green flash. The conditions have to be near perfect to see a flash. If there's any cloud about, it's almost impossible. Just to put things into perspective, to give you an idea, looking back to where we came from, there is about 1,000 nautical miles of ocean between us and the Galapagos Islands. And we have just over 2,000 nautical miles ahead of us before we get to the Marquesas Islands. And we found the depth of the water out here in this part of the Pacific very impressive. We have just over 3,500 metres or 3.5 kilometres of water directly beneath us. Denise is having another crack at winding a fish in. This time, the hook stays set and we land a very nice mahi-mahi.
Don't look so serious. That's a good sized fish. I've still got one on this other rod over here.
We end up with two very nice mahi-mahi on board, ready for the filleting knife. This sunrise marks the beginning of a new day. It also marks our Point Nemo, our halfway point between the Galapagos and the Marquesas. It is roughly 1,500 nautical miles behind us back to the Galapagos and just over 1,500 nautical miles ahead of us to the Marquesas. This is my favourite time of the day, watching the sun come up, watching the light reveal what is around us. You can feel the serenity. This is also the calmest time of the day, as the sun powers Anacam up by shining onto our solar panels, converting it into electricity. It also powers up the wind. As the day warms up, the wind increases in strength. This fish is a result of leaving the lures out overnight, and to this day I still don't know what it is, so for the sake of the exercise we called it a big-eyed oogly-goo. Our heading was 270 degrees magnetic, due west. So every night we watched the setting of the sun off our bow. The one part of this passage that I found absolutely amazing was we were so far from land with consistent trade winds, and yet the swell was almost non-existent. We watched almost every sunset, hoping to witness the elusive green flash. It was at about this point in the passage that we put more south into our heading. As the air became light, we went south searching for wind. This change of course would end up adding on an additional 500 nautical miles onto this passage. The additional 500 nautical miles would equate to about an extra 2.5 days of sailing. Just on dawn each morning, we would tilt the solar panels back to catch more of the sun rays, and also run the lures out to catch more fish each day. We found the fishing very impressive in this part of the world. There were several marlin that won their freedom very quickly, and we had a lot of tuna come on board, and we released most of them unharmed. It's always the call of all hands on deck when the dolphins show up. At about this same time, we started to get this strange smell in the air, an earthy smell. We've been at sea for so long, we have not smelt what rainforest and what soil smelt like, and that's what we had as we approached the Marquesas Islands. We called these dolphins the Welcoming Committee. We could smell it, but we could not see it. Just up ahead is the island of Iva in the Marquesas. These beautiful creatures stayed with us for hours, showing us the way to where we had to go. It was the next day, after the dolphins had shown up, that we could make the call, land ho, as the island of Hiva-Oa appeared over the horizon. And almost right on cue, this lovely Pacific skipjack tuna gave it up, so we had some fresh fish for when we arrived. It was remarkable, the closer we got to the island, the stronger the smell of the rainforest. The excitement on board was growing. As we were getting very close now, it was late in the day. What would we find here? And could we enter the anchorage after sundown? The answer to the last question was a yes. As we went in to the anchorage at Atuona, there were other yachts in there with their anchor lights on. There were no reefs to navigate around, so it was quite straightforward to go in, find a place with a bit of space and drop our anchor for a good night's sleep. Thank you for watching this remake of a very amazing part of our journey from Europe back to Australia.